so much, Pastor Abe. I haven't seen a pastor who is so passionate about the health of his members like Pastor Abe. So we thank God for your life. And like he rightly said, he had been, so he was qualified. Yeah. So someone came to me. He knows the person. I'll not mention the name. And we did a test. I started cracking my head. Do you have diabetes in your family? No. Have you taken this medication? No. Have you done this? No. But this particular results I'm getting, I'll not let it go. There's something that is wrong. Okay. When did you have your last meal last night? Said, I woke up in the morning and I ate banana and yogurt. What time did you eat the banana and yogurt? 4 a.m. You should have told me, and I'm cracking my head trying to find out what is wrong with you. You have eaten. So yes, if you have eaten, you will not be able to do it because we want the best for you. We want the best for you. Between the time I came here, he's setting it up, so I'm just buying time. Between the time I came here and today, it's fantastic. Somebody took a vehicle. The friend came to do the test at Ridge and said, no, I need to call my friend who has come from overseas. And the lipids, cholesterol is not certain. The person said, please wait for me, don't go. She took an Uber, came all the way to do the test. And the results were just fantastic. But for her friend who came, I said, thank God you've come. Because your brother was pushing you, you kept on dodging. Your result is seriously diabetic. You are seriously diabetic. And we must take steps immediately. Otherwise, you will fall down. You felt you were, anemic. And you kept on taking turkey berry. Good. But I look under your eye, you are not anemic. Your problem is that the sugar is not getting into your body. So you feel dizzy and weak. And it's because you have diabetes. It's important that we take care of our health. And so, like I said, what your pastor is doing is very fantastic. With his permission, he says the whole of this month. So today perhaps will be the last of the blood. But next week and the week after, something else will come. Something else that somebody who stood on the machine, it's a tall machine. You stand on the laser, will just measure your height, everything. The data will come out. Because the person came 32 years. When we finished, the machine said you are 60 years. What does that mean? As for your chronological age, we can't change it. It's your birth certificate, we can't change. But as we live, our lifestyle and what we eat and what we do begin to affect us. So you may be 30 years, by the time we finish, your system is that of a 60-year-old person. It means if there are lawyers here, they have to help you to start writing your will. Pastor will help you to correct the thing. So that if we should do it again, you'll be 40. Outside ICGC, this lady stood on 60-something. She was on pension. What? You are 32 years. What do? I have a garden and I grow vegetables. And that is what I feed on. So that is what we call your metabolic age. It's your medical age. It's different from your date of birth. That one will put it here. Everybody will be able to afford. Invite your friends. Everybody will be able to afford. Don't miss that one. Don't miss it. So today we're going to look at those of you who have your results. Just flash, recall your results so you can go along with me. Those who have their results, recall so you can go along with me. All right. And for those who be coming today, follow it closely so that you can understand. So we believe that wellness is what God has created us for. I'm not preaching today, but I'll release a mystery. You see, between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock when Jesus died, what happened? As soon as the blood dropped, there was darkness, blackness. The veil tore into two. The graves were opened. Wait, let's hold on. I want you to picture yourself. I don't know which cemetery is near. Now, suddenly there's darkness. And you are getting to the cemetery. You are walking. You alone. You start hearing cuckoo, cuckoo. If the graves were opened, tombstones were opened, you think the cemetery was quiet? Cuckoo, cuckoo, you alone, you are walking. What will you do? Some of you, you call pastor. Don't call pastor. Apply. That is what the scripture says. That the graves were open. When the graves were open, what was going on? Medical angels were there. They were beginning to repair the saints that had died. Those who had bone problems, they were fixing it. There was serious theater work going on there. Those who were blind, they were fixing their eyes. 3 days, cuckoo, 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 they were doing that. But they will not resurrect until Christ resurrects, because he must be the first fruit of all resurrection. 3 days, operation going on in the cemetery. When Christ resurrected, all the saints that had died before, they now rose and people saw them. They went back to their family. Am I lying? I'm not preaching today. Because God cares so much about the health of his people. He says, take time and look at Jeremiah 8:20. And you see how much God is concerned about the health of his people. Now, it is not changing. It's not changing. It's not changing. IT, please. Okay, so there's some time lapse. All right, good. So you can see the liver. All of you can see the liver. Right. This is a very important organ. Very, very important organ. We call it the master organ. Because after eating, anything that enters the body and is absorbed into the bloodstream, the body must carefully handle it. The body will determine, is it a foreigner or a local person? If it's a foreign agent, like medication you have taken, it must immediately handle it and safely take it out of the system. The body will ensure that where the target area of sickness is, that is where the medicine will go and work. So there are very simple things that we take for granted. Paracetamol. It is a number 1 liver killer. If you take overdose of, some of you, everything paracetamol, overdose. Don't take overdose, you will destroy the liver. And when you are on an empty stomach, don't take medication. You'll be forcing the liver to work in a manner that is injurious to the liver itself. Some of us, may know, others may not know. The blood, our red blood cells, they live for 120 days. But God is good. After 120 days, they are broken down. Inside the red blood cell is iron. The iron is taken for production of new red blood cells. The rest is waste. But it is hazardous waste, toxic waste, that must be safely disposed of by the liver. So today, some of us, our red blood cells have reached 120 days, they will break. Tomorrow, another group, 120, they will break. As they are breaking, fresh ones will also be coming in. So the broken ones must be removed. It is a toxic substance. Did you hear me? So the body will send in proteins to police this toxic substance, to make it less toxic, proteins. If you look at your report, one of the first things we measured was the white of egg, the albumin is a protein. That is the one that arrests this toxic material. For those of you who are mothers, you may have experienced jaundice babies before. Because that toxic material, its production has overwhelmed the disposal system. So it begins to move into certain parts of the body, the eyes, the brain, etc. And for people with some blood disorders, you keep on breaking more than necessary. Okay? The processing, therefore, begins from before things enter the liver. The liver itself, further processing. It is in the liver that we do further detox. And then after the liver, it exists. It will exit. Anything that affects what enters the liver will affect the whole function of the liver. Anything that happens inside the liver affects the whole function of the liver. Anything that happens after the liver affects the function. Because if toxic materials are to be disposed of and they are not leaving into the gallbladder, there's a back push again into the liver, which will make the liver not function properly. So the panel that we did, 8 of them, describes how your liver functions. If you are looking there on your panel, you may see 2 things. 1, AST and ALT. How many can see it? Those who have their results. Good. These are key things that are released into the bloodstream when the liver is beginning to get diseased. One informs us that it is an acute situation. The other tells us that it's a chronic situation. Then you see another one shortly after is written GGT. Who has seen that one? The GGT is very key and very important. That is after the liver going to the gallbladder. Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. Yeah. You can still see the liver. Under the liver, you see some thread-like things. They are pulling the waste into the gallbladder. That thread-like thing is very sensitive. Hepatitis B infection, it will react. If you take alcohol, it will react. If you take marijuana, we shall see it. If you take opium, we shall catch you. If you take strong medication like morphine, we'll get it. Tramadol, we'll get it. I told some students, those of you on drugs, the day I'll do this thing, we shall see. In the class, we'll see it. So when that portion has a problem, it tells us that the movement of the waste is being affected. And it's being affected by something that is being done. So if you see that your result has been flagged, H, meaning high, then we must have an explanation. A lady came, we asked everything. I asked everything. I couldn't get the explanation. Then he said, no. I'm taking a product that has marijuana. It has marijuana is medicinal. We have the medicinal and we have the psychotropic one. So we have the medicinal marijuana, we have the psychotropic one. So I'm taking the medicinal one. I say it's reflected. So we check the whole liver and the whole story is put together to determine what is happening to the liver. Afterwards, the next check has to do with the kidney. Kidney is a very important organ. And I've put there 17 signs that you will experience if your liver is not functioning well. Then we go to the kidney. The kidney is also very important. It's one of the things that God in his wisdom gave us a spare tire. This is critical because every toxic thing, again, another form, must be removed from the system. And the illustration I give is this. When you enter a public washroom that is not properly kept, what hits you? Something hits you. That thing is ammonia. There's ammonia coming from the human body. Ammonia is good for fertilizer. Those who are farmers know that we don't put fertilizer direct on the plant. Am I right? What happens? The plant will die. But you put it around. Because the nitrogen is needed to help the plant. That nitrogen that is in our body, ammonia, if it does not leave, the effect we see on the plant dying because of the fertilizer is what you see on the kidney. It starts killing the kidney. And the kidney starts going down. So this organ is a very important organ because when it begins to pack, you have to go for dialysis, sometimes twice a week. And you know the cost of dialysis. It's another organ that must be well protected. So on your report form, 3 things were used to determine how the kidney functions. There is one. If you open your eyes carefully, you see C-R-E-A. C-R-E-A. If you look at it carefully. And then there's another one, B-U-N. All these measure the nitrogenous waste that is coming out of your system. If it's not coming out properly, your figures will go up. We shall flag it H, high. The other organ that we look at is the heart. The heart. The heart, unfortunately, no spare part. No spare part for the heart. So it is an organ that must be critically taken care of. It's the engine. If it begins to develop problems, then just as it's done to the car engine, they do some overhauling depending on the condition. Sometimes they'll tell the engine is gone, finished. And unfortunately, when it goes, we cannot go to Abosi Okai and get a spare one for you. At that point, it means Baba is calling you to come and rest. Your heart has worked so much, you are being overwhelmed. If yours flax, CK, if the CK flax, if it is high, two things. Either you have a heart condition or you are living a stressful life. For most of the people I've seen, they are living stressful lives. Very stressful. The case of one woman, she was going through divorce. I said, you know what? And divorce and abuse at home. I said, remove yourself from the toxic environment to save yourself. Otherwise, your heart, you soon have a heart attack. Then we go down. I'll skip some of these things, so I'll go down further. All right, let's go down to the next slide. And yeah, let's remain there. There's a small organ you can see orange. It's the pancreas. It plays a very important role when it comes to sugar. Now, the pancreas is the orange one. And you can see that if you look at the image on the right, you see some green triangular things moving out of the pancreas into the bloodstream. The green thing is insulin. When you are born with type 1 diabetes, you do not produce the insulin. So there's sugar floating in your body. You feel weak, you feel dizzy. The only way out is now to be injected with insulin. So you see people being injected daily. They inject themselves with insulin. The type 2, which happens to most people, is a lifestyle. Lifestyle precipitates the type 2. Particularly obesity. Overweight, obesity, sedentary lifestyle, excess carbohydrate, no exercise, eating oil and oil-related things, your love for pastries, trans fatty acids, which can take over 100 days to leave your GIT. All those things will contribute to type 2 diabetes. With the type 2, the insulin is now ineffective. And it is only corrected by lifestyle modification again. You are referred to a dietitian, they look at your diet, they modify your diet, put you on exercise, things like that to correct it. Let you lose weight, correct it. But a lot of people are walking around with type 2 and they are not aware. What they may be going through, they think it is normal, and that other people are going through. People are not going through. And there are cases, 2 cases, I won't go into details, but that had to do with a pastor's sister who passed on recently. Busy working, not taking care of her diabetic condition. The person arrived at the hospital with the glucose level 30.0. The person was walking dead. The doctors tried and tried and tried. ICU, glory. The other type that people also are not aware is the pre-diabetes, where your figure now lies between 6 and 7. Pre-diabetes, 6 and 7. A lot of people have pre-diabetes. You can easily correct that one. So if you look at your report, you see 2 things. AMY. AMY is looking at the functionality of the pancreas. And then you see glucose or GLU written there. That measures your sugar level. So most people are okay with that. Let's move on to the next one. Your nerve endings. Some people are in some jobs that exposes them to certain toxins. It could be the catering department. You are there, smoke is entering your system, you are not aware. There are certain toxins that come out of the kitchen. When you keep on frying oil, frying oil, over frying of oil, carcinogens are produced. And they come out in the fumes and enters the system. They will affect your nerve endings eventually. When you don't take care of the sugar level and it goes up, diabetes is just a sequel of events. So when the diabetes sets in, then we can have nephropathy. Then we have retinopathy, neuropathy, your nerve systems. It goes on like that. Hypertension comes in. So this measures the nerve system. Then I'll go to the last one, which is very critical. Now, if you watch, you see on the left side some blue dots. I don't know if you can see it. Blue, yeah. Blue dots and yellow dots. This is where cholesterol and its cousins come in. The blue dots labeled HDL, you see it on your report. That's a good cholesterol. Good. In fact, cholesterol, the dietitians, they say good and bad. Every cholesterol is good because vitamin D starts from cholesterol. Is used to build vitamin D. The hormones, it starts from cholesterol. So cholesterol in itself is not a demon. It's how we handle the cholesterol and the kind of balance we create for the cholesterol. So the blue one is a good cholesterol. That one will take fat from outside the liver and will send it into the liver to be processed, broken down. The yellow one is the bad cholesterol. It takes the fat from inside the liver and throws it out of the liver. Some will accumulate in the belly, some the backside and all that, and some will enter the blood vessels. If you look at the blood vessel, you see an accumulation. Now look at the right one. The yellow accumulation, you can see yellow. And therefore it has narrowed the bore of the blood vessel. What that means is that the heart will now have to pump harder. Hypertension now sets in. If we don't take necessary precautions to reduce the cholesterol, particularly the LDL, the bad cholesterol, if we don't take steps, then we move on to the next condition. In an attempt to send blood to the brain, the blood vessels are very tiny there. So, with the force that this thing is using, it will streak off, peel off a bit of the yellow, roll it on, block the blood vessel in the brain. Ischemic stroke. Blood is supposed to send what? Oxygen and nutrients, isn't it? So if there is a block and blood is not getting to that area of the brain, it means that area is not receiving oxygen, it's not receiving nutrients, it dies off. So if it occurs on the right side, then the left side becomes paralyzed. The person has stroke. The other one is a hemorrhagic. Here, in its attempt to pump blood, the force is so much that there is a burst and blood starts going into the head. That's very dangerous. Very dangerous. We saw a Christian brother pass off. His head started swelling. He was bleeding internally in the head till he passed. So basically, the examinations that we are doing focuses on the 4 systemic organs: the liver, the kidney, the heart, the pancreas. Then we look at the nerves. Those who have had a diabetic stroke, you will see that the CHE that measures the nerves is low. Tells you there's a problem. If you've not had stroke and yours is low, it tells you that there's inactivity. Your nerves are not firing. You are docile. So that is also measured. Then the glucose is measured. And the entire lipid profile is measured. And then also there is the calculation of the 2 kidney factors. It's down there. There's a calculation. There's a last calculation that you see there to give us an indication of how the kidney is working. So I'll pause here. If there are questions, you can. I believe that with this explanation, those who received their reports and I said, please call me, you may not need to call me. But there's a solution. And thank God for Pastor Abe as a solution. Because we look at natural things first. If it's critical, I'll tell you. Like the one that was done on the 6th day, I said, you must now go to the National Diabetic Center for them to work on you immediately. Let them bring it down. And afterwards, we use lifestyle, correct it. Otherwise, you just go into coma. Diabetes and sugar levels are such that if it goes low, you go into coma, you die. We had one worker who kept on drinking because of marital issues. He drank till he died. His sugar was 2. At the time he reported 2. Coma, dead. If it goes high from 24, you are approaching another coma due to high level. So it's important that we keep on checking these things from time to time, especially if you are in a pre-diabetic zone or a diabetic zone. You need to check. Any question now? Yes, please.
Shalom, sir.
Shalom.
You said something about taking medicine in an empty stomach.
Yes.
This is me. I normally take turmeric powder and black pepper. Like, I'll mix it with a warm water and I take it as a tea.
As tea?
Yes, in the morning. For instance, this morning I took lemon and warm water. I used to do that. Is it good?
So that's beverage. So you are taking beverage. It's food.
But you said medicine. Is turmeric not a medicine?
It depends on how you take the medicine. Jesus asked them, how do you read the scriptures? And how do you understand? Because the turmeric or the natural things we take, if they have antioxidants, they have vitamins, they have phenolic compounds, they will come along with food to help in digestion. If you take your vitamins alone, and you don't take it after meals, because the vitamins must help in the metabolism, you have a challenge. You are overwhelming the liver to work without petrol. It's going to work without petrol. So if you are taking the turmeric as a beverage, fine. But if you are taking it for a particular ailment, then you are taking it as an antioxidant to be dealing with cancer and hypertension and things like that. In that case, it's advisable to take it after a meal. Are you okay now? Yes. Okay. Any other question? Those things are good to take as beverages. I just received this, and it says that Alzheimer's disease, how sugar consumption may impact the risk. I received it 3rd of June. Alzheimer's. Because those who are still taking the sugar, I said last week, you are committing suicide. And you are burdening the whole church to be praying for you. Man is spirit, soul, and body. There are things that are spiritual, we tackle them spiritually. There are things that are of the soulish realm. There are things that are physical. You need to do your test and have the right supplements and the right thing. Those things, prayer is not where we go. Is that okay? Yes, please, your question.
Yes, please. I just wanted to add up to what our brother was asking about. There are instances where maybe you go to the hospital, they give you prescription, and you are told to take the medication on an empty stomach. So that one too is there. They may tell you that specifically take it before food, because sometimes the food we take may react with the drugs, or you take it, you eat before taking. So there are those specifications we should also be aware of. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So those ones, it's not when you are fasting. It's only saying take it maybe before meals. And by that, it means that there will be expectation of meals coming. But if you take that alone the whole day, because they say take it on an empty stomach, so you take the whole day, I can assure you, you are destroying the liver. And there's no doctor who will tell you take it the whole day without eating. The assumption is that you have eaten. We have seen people who come to the hospital complaining, later they realize that it's hunger that is killing them. The nurse who asks this, they say, you don't know. Give the person cocoa, you see revival. Thank you so much for your contribution. So the instructions given for medication, be careful. Follow the instructions. Yeah. Any other question?
Thank you, Doctor, for the opportunity. So let's say because of one reason or the other, your gallbladder was taken away.
Gallbladder?
Yeah, from your system. What does it cause? What is the negativity of that not being there?
Okay, so you must be careful of your diet, because the gallbladder has an important role of, we call them the bile pigments. The bile pigments help in emulsifying the fats that we take. So when we take anything fatty, it helps to break it down. Now, when that gallbladder is removed, possibly because of stones that were formed there, then it means that try not to take too much of that, so that you don't create a situation where they cannot be broken down because of insufficient release of the bile into the digestive system. So you must just be careful of your diet. Africans like oil. We like oil. People drink oil. They eat oil. They bath oil. Anoint with oil. But oil is just, little oil is okay. And the type of oil, people go for food and they say, they want to see an island of, the oil should swim around the food like an island. You are only overwhelming your system. When that machine comes next week, you will see where the oil is going. And you see how the oil is making you grow old. So that is the advice I will have. Any other question?
Shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you for the opportunity. Okay, so someone was asking, if you do all these things right, you take the supplements, you're on course with everything, but you don't drink water. You don't drink water often. What would the repercussions be?
Okay, next week when the machine comes, it will tell the water content in your body. The mineral content, the water. But it's very important. Water is very important. I think I listened to the BBC program. Men should take 3.7 liters a day. 3.7 liters a day. Women will be a bit lower, about 3.2. Water is, the body is 3/4 water. The earth is 3/4 water. That's how God has created it. That is my beautiful area of study. I study all the waters in the body. As your water is, so is your health. If your water is the one that we need the prophet Elisha to come and throw something in, he says, this town is so beautiful. Oh, nightlife. Tell you like it all. But the water, there's a problem. The body is so beautiful. When we look at you, hey, if you're a young man and I put you on my machine and I bring another disc, your hormones will just be going like this. But the water. And I told the people in my congregation, when I bring that machine, the young people are not married. Be careful. You look at that sister, she's so young, she's so beautiful. Please, send her to the machine. For all you know, you are marrying an old lady. Similarly, the young ladies, the man looks very nice, handsome, very young. Send him there. Oh. You may be dealing with an old man. Someone stood on it, he said, this machine, I will never stand on it again. Another girl stood on it and said, no, the machine is lying. I said, how? I can stand on it and you see that I'm even younger. Why does the machine know you that should lie to you alone? So next week we shall have fun, Pastor. We'll have fun in this place. When you get your result, you just hide somewhere. Any other question? Any other question? Any other question? All right. Your pastor loves you and cares so much about you. It's
Thank
the first
you
time
for
we
the
are moving that machine
opportunity.
to any congregation. So you are blessed. Yes.
Sir, I want to find out if you have fatty liver. What bad practices do you have to stop?
Fatty liver is, you see, fatty liver is like your car engine that have put sand around it. It's around the timing belt. It's around the, it's just not going to work well for you. Alcohol can lead to fatty liver. Alcohol is one common cause of a fatty liver. The other causes will also come if you are taking too much of fat. I told you, if your LDL wrong, if your H, let me get it right. If the HDL is low, it means that it's not going to break the fat there for you. It must take it and break it there. It's not going to break it there. So it will just remain in there. And one of the things that you may have seen is that the liver is also a storage organ for fat. Something like vitamin E can be stored there for about 2 years, reserved there for you, you know. So it means you must avoid fatty food. You must avoid alcohol. And the first thing to do is to do a detox. Do a complete detox before you start other remedies. Fatty liver disease, toxic liver disease. Then we have the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. There are various types. Then we have the viral liver diseases, also caused by viral hepatitis B, will also take your liver down. And then we have others also caused by toxins, aflatoxins, seasons of peanuts. You like the boiled granite, check the boiled granite. When you see the mold, that's aflatoxin. That's aflatoxin. So all these things will put extra pressure on the liver. And if your liver is in that kind of condition, a fatty liver, the next thing you have to do is be careful of the medicines that you take. There are people who just take medicine. They just take. They just buy anything, they just take. Be careful. Because every medication you take, it is the responsibility of the liver to handle that medication. Every medication. And then God is so good that the way it handles the normal, I'm trying to break it down to our level. There are things in there that must be processed in a certain fashion. And there are certain chemicals that God has made. It will help to process them through the liver and out. Those same chemicals will be used when you take medication to process them. I'll give you a very simple case. Paracetamol, and I like using that. Fasting and taking paracetamol. This year, mustache must come. Mustache has kept too long. These days, you don't go to university and just get first class without mustache. Make sure, if you don't get first class, at least go home with mustache. So, you are waiting for mustache. Mustache is not coming. Final year. So now you are in the bush, praying, fasting, praying. God, release him. I release him. I receive. I release him. I receive. Come. I command you, wherever he is. Angels of God, bring the man. And you are fasting. And you are fasting. And you are taking paracetamol. True medical case. You are quickly destroying your liver. Because when you fast, the things that you process, whatever should leave the body, the proteins that should process them are not being produced. When the body needs energy, the first one it taps on is your foreign exchange. It goes in for high currency, that's the protein, and deals with the protein first. Next is going to look at your carbohydrate and say, look, liver, hold on to any carbohydrate. I don't know what this guy is trying to do. Because the carbohydrate comes as emergency energy for your body. So liver, hold on, don't release anything. Therefore, let us go to where the fat is and start breaking the fat. So when you are overweight and you do a good fast, you will lose weight. In fact, recently they published, I think it's in Newcastle University, did a study that for those who are diabetic, if they can just lose 9 kg of weight, their levels will fall into the normal level, which can go for about 5 years. If you are diabetic and you are overweight and can just lose 9 kg, your level comes down to normal. That will take you for about 5 years. So we are resetting your system to factory level. So when you fast, this is what happens. That those proteins are not produced, so they cannot help. When that is happening, sorry I'm taking you to a science class now. The body will now take a bypass. And that bypass is a dangerous route where it will now produce very toxic things in order to deal with something as simple as paracetamol. And that thing now poisons the liver. It poisons the liver. So any question? Because those who are coming to do it, if I keep you too long, I'll be missing the time. Your fasting should be 12 to 14 hours. Beyond that, I'll not get the right value. So can I take this as the last one? The rest can. Oh, okay.
Sir, yes. I've heard of liver cirrhosis.
Yes.
What is it about and all that surrounding it?
Your own. I can explain quickly, but I don't know if it will help us this morning. So you can see me later. In cirrhosis, we are talking about, you see, the way the bricks are laid when a building is being done, the wall. They are nicely arranged. That's how the liver cells are. Right? Nicely arranged. When we come to cirrhosis, we are jogging the whole thing up and we are affecting the way it functions. That's the cirrhosis. When we say necrosis, we are saying that they are dying. That word necrosis comes from negro. when they saw the black man, they saw him as black and death. Say Negro, necrosis. Are you okay now? I've given you Med 101 this morning. It's okay. Last question.
Shalom. Thank you so much. I want to ask, what is the remedy for the bad cholesterol?
Oh, Pastor has it. Pastor has it. So let me not take his job out of him. I've done my part. He will look at your data and he will tell you which one is good for you. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Before Prof leaves, I want to find out if anybody is pregnant and stands on the machine next week, what happens? Is it advisable for the person to do that? Secondly, how much should we bring along? Because the machine is not free. Vehicle will bring the machine. Machine was bought with money. And I don't believe in free things. I believe in supporting people all the time.
Okay. Yes, a pregnant person can stand on. The laser will not affect the pregnancy at all. We will interpret the data, your BMI, in terms of the fact that you are pregnant. We will take that into consideration. But more importantly, it's going to tell us the various types of fat in your body. The visceral fat, it will tell us the fat in the muscle, it will tell us the total body fat in your system. It will tell us. It will also tell us about the water content of your body, the fluid content. How much fluid you are taking, it will tell us. Tell us about the mineral content in your body. Some people need mineral supplementation. It will tell us about that. It will also tell us about your, like I said, finally, it now puts all the data together to say that based on this information that we have, Akosia, you are very young. You are actually 18 years and not 35. Aha. It will tell us that. Okay. Oh, the other one you have, it's 46. So everybody will be able to have. In fact, I do much talking after that I should charge him 400.
So 40 CDs you have heard. So make sure your 40 CDs is ready. Those of you who have registered, to see Prof. We know how we did it last week. It will flow like that. If you have not eaten, but you did not actually record your name, you can also go and make sure you have everything checked.